And my grandfather said when I was a young boy, he was like, listen, if you want to be respected, you got to dress like you want respect. I am the owner of Altitude Academy LLC. We are a barber school, and I am the lead instructor, and I help people become proficient in the art of barber science. Here at Altitude, we do a lot of life coaching, disguised as barber instructors. I get the opportunity to groom hair, groom people, groom attitudes, groom opportunities. Grooming is what I do every day. My name is Rodney Bullock, and my home is Greenville, North Carolina. I am a barber because I didn't have a choice in the matter. It kind of made its way to me. It's kind of always been a staple throughout my life. Even though I've gone to do other things, I've always come back to barbering, and it has always managed to find me. The very first reason I became a barber is because my father decided it would be a great idea to save the family money by cutting mine and my brother's hair. There was one time when he gave me the best haircut I had ever received. And he says, hey, listen, I noticed I missed a couple of stray hairs. Have a seat really quickly. He went over the top and knocked those strays off, but he forgot to put the guard back on. And so there was like a landing strip, and the first words out of his mouth were not, oh son, I'm so sorry, or oh my goodness, what can we do to fix it? He said, you're going to school tomorrow. And I made up in my mind that very day that I was never going to allow him to cut my hair again. And if I wanted to be able to do that and carry it out, I had to learn how to barber. And so that's when it really started. Growing up as a child, going to the barbershop, it was like an adventure to me. I really love the fact that I got to sweep hair to make money, and so that's the first time I experienced real commerce. And I saw so many other things that were kind of on the heels of spending time with my father in a place where older men socialize. So we learned how to socialize with one another in that place. We learned how to dress well. We wanted that persona. The barber was always dressed well, spoke well, always reached out to the community, always helped. And the added layer on top of that was that he was a black man. So I was like, oh my goodness, I can be that. I took so many moving parts away from that situation to form what we've got going on now and share that with other people. Intrinsic motivation. Internally, you don't need anybody to spur you on. Extrinsic motivation is the responsibility of something outside yourself that motivates you to get the job done. Listen, don't put yourself out of the game before the game gets started. Business is not about your emotion. There needs to be an absence of attitude. It's about your skill set and your intuition. What tool are you going to use to attract somebody to become your client?
Rodney can be a friend, but be a counselor. If you know what I mean, like he gives you a lot of guidance, and he's a teacher here as well as your outside life.
He won't just teaching us barbering, he was teaching us life itself, like how to live regularly without having to mix the two. And what was more important, building a life in the right way or having to, you know, sacrifice what you have. Teaching us the importance of how to dress when you go talk to people. All that he did kind of reflect on me, so now what he poured in me, now I can pour into others. I think that Rodney is a great guy. You know, we'll call him Mr. Rodney, but he's more like a brother to me.
When I leave school, I go home and I cut hair. But I feel like I would never be able to do that without my classmates and without Mr. Rodney supporting me and like giving me guidance. That's really important. Without the support system, I wouldn't even be able to do this.
The barbershop for the Black community historically is a place, I like to say all the time, it's the center of the universe, meaning that everything is birthed there and it spreads out and reaches so many different facets, so many different genres, encompasses so many different things that are all really good. The barbershop historically in the Black community is where Black men would serve. They would barber, they would shave, they would give haircuts to their white counterparts all throughout the day. They would listen, they would learn, but they would be silent in that moment of servitude. And the times that they were serving were also the times they were educating themselves on the conversations that were being had. And so after the close of regular business, they were allowed to serve their own. And so the Black community would come in, they would sit, and they would have a lesson about the things that were spoken about in the other parts of their communities that they weren't privileged enough to be privy to during the day. So in the evening, they got an education. They also got barbered. They learned how to mobilize. They learned how to socialize in ways that were different than they normally did between one another. And it became what made a movement in every Black community. I want my legacy to be that I was a ridiculously good husband, that I was an outstanding father. I was my son's father, but I was also his friend. My wish for the community is that when they look at our school, our organization, is that they see a family. That we are consistent in what we do, and that if we can do it extremely well, they can use it as a model to do the same thing. My father used to say to me all the time, I don't want to hear your excuses because they're only satisfying you. I want the community to have an example of people that don't make excuses, consistently grooming, consistently trying to cut away the things that are dead or are not going to be a benefit to us down the road, so that they can see all the beautiful things that come from trimming off the dead weight, taking away all of the fat meat, so you can get to the thing that really matters, and that is the beauty of the life we're living.